Hey folks, how you doing out there today? Remo back. We are out on the new Highway Haulin 2 map, which is called Bentwood County. Gonna do a bit of a task that I've added in. I haven't had a ton of time to work on the map this week, but I have got a few things added in. So what we are going to do is head up, grab ourselves cut 2 loads of medium logs because we're using the GGMS logging pack trailer. So this low saddle trailer holds 2 loads of medium logs. I love these trailers because I don't like using the dollies, and it's nice to be able to carry 2 loads at once. Seems a reasonable amount. Truck we're out in today is the Your Next 55571 by Big Dubs. Didn't even know it dropped recently. I just saw it on the mod browser, so I figure we better take this sucker out for a spin. It's got lots of tire options. I got the largest motor available, off-road gearbox. It seems to have a pretty nice speed. What we're doing is we're taking this setup over and we're going to start building the log road that heads out to the drilling rig site. Anyone that's been out on the map, it got released, I think it was Tuesday or Monday I released it, and approved on Friday, so everyone but Switch, which seems to be the usual way it goes, can have a look at the map. Right now it has 7 vehicle recoveries. The train pull task is available, and then I have a logging haul task to bring logs back to the rail yard. Those are just fillers. They're going to change up a little bit in terms of what and why. I just kind of threw them together real quick so you had something to do. The release so far is basically a PTS type version, so it's to just get out, see the sights if you like, mess around with a few tasks, and just look for any errors or any ideas you may have. We're hung up here pretty good. I think we should be able to, just back out of this, not too bad. Yeah, so far, this is all I've driven, what you see right now, but the suspension feels really good. It's a nice feeling truck. It seems pretty capable and not OP by any means, so it's going to be another truck that's definitely going to get in the arsenal, I think, for regular use. Big Dubs makes a lot of cool stuff, both sides of the modding community in terms of maps and vehicles, so really cool. Good work, man, and definitely enjoying what you put out there. Now we're going to come down here and pick up some medium logs is what I've coded in for this task completion. I have time saying that some days. I don't know if I'm going to keep it the same or maybe make small logs, but most likely you're going to have to run back to map 1 to get some of these logs. What I'm using is, I believe it was in one of the Russian maps, DLCs, there were log roads that you could build, so I've kind of incorporated that, because really if you want to build a road currently, you have to use a bridge basically is the only animated build it and it shows up, and then you have the sides on the road. I used it in the first map on that Main Street repair and nobody really seemed to complain, so who knows, maybe I'll push a little harder with that. But this one, we're building a nice, there is a long way around, and you have to go through the swamp to get out to the drill rig. It's going to be a pretty tough run with cargo. The drill rig is going to take quite a few loads, and we have to pull that 8-slot rig trailer to bring the mast out. What I've done is made a spot where you can build a bridge, and then you can build this log road to get yourself a much straighter shot and flatter run across the swamp up out of the mud. So you have your options. You can either drag stuff all the way around through the swamp and up to it, or you can spend time hauling a few of these logs, some other probably planks and service parts to do the bridge, and get yourself a nice straight shot out there that's going to be a lot less likely to hang up on anything. What I've done is you're basically building it in sections. So I believe most of them are like 3 sections of log bridge will appear when you make a delivery. Now I don't know how many logs I'm gonna make you. If we stick, right now I have it coded in as 2 loads, so this trailer will build 3 sections, which when you look at the area built and the amount of logs on the load seems pretty close to what you would expect. I don't want to make this a grinding task, but I do want to make you work for the easier access out to the drill rig. Let me know what you think. If you want, like, you'd probably end up right now 3 at a time. It'd probably be about 8 to 10 log loads to complete this road, and you're gonna have to drive down the road further to unload each and every pass as you would progress. So it's probably a pretty good amount of hauling, especially considering the logs are most likely going to come from map 1. These log loading areas are probably only going to have large logs, like the long ones, and the smaller logs are going to be back on the first map, just to mix it up a bit so you're not running into the same log loading area. There are 2 different loading areas on this map. They're going to have a limited amount at each one, so you're through your playthrough, especially in the region version, you're going to have to end up going to both of them eventually, so you're going to run out on one. I'll make sure that there are enough logs to complete whatever you need to do, even if you lose a couple, because I know sometimes they just flat out despawn when you roll. And not that you're going to roll on an adventure out here, right? It's highway hauling. So I'm quite happy with that log road. It seems like, personally, that was a pretty challenging drive where there's a couple spots there I could have flipped over pretty easy and had to actually drive it, but not impossible. And I really do think that a vanilla truck could get in and out of there in terms of the ground clearance needed and the traction and stuff. I haven't really added a whole bunch of rocks in too many places. Some of the little side trails, and I have added in quite a few little just 4x4ing trails, so you can RP with a nicer truck out till the roads get bad, and then take your off-road rig out for a drive around, just kind of cruise. But the only thing that's probably going to stay exactly the same is the watch points when I finally get to release a single map. I'm hoping in the next week, although like I said, I've had enough stuff going on. I really haven't got a lot of time on the map, so I can't really give you a definite time, but I'm hoping in the next week or so I should be able to have the single map to a point that is finished and a little better for the testing of it, and then perhaps one more update after that, because I always make a few mistakes, never seem to find them all, but somebody will definitely find what I missed somewhere. I'm right now just kind of filling in the last few houses. There's a couple of the usable garages on this map that have orange gables at the end of the buildings, and it's the only model that is a triangle in game, so I just threw it in there quick. But I'm going to change those to something that looks a little more natural and just go through all the houses and factories and all that again, and make sure that we have the gardens and all the little stuff that's laying around, loads of log or piles of lumber and tires. And if you've been out on the map, you'll notice that all the garages I've tried to, the ones that you can park in, I've tried to add in some toolboxes and tires and just the kind of stuff that's kicking around, just make the pictures hopefully that much nicer, and hop around. And every house should have its own fairly unique little look and different size garage for the most part. I've made all the garages cement floors in them, I think, for the most part, so you shouldn't get those glitch tires. I don't want to make every driveway asphalt, but we'll see if they get out and fix this tire track glitch that's been happening the last, well, I think it's 2 updates ago at this point. Not too optimistic that they're going to get it fixed up anytime soon. So beauty of the highway Haulin region, like the other ones, is you're going to get a good mix of that off-road run, and then we're going to come out and even hop in cab here for a bit. These highway maps are definitely some of the few that I actually do some in-cab driving when you're doing a run for a while on a paved road. Oddly enough, the vehicles seem to have slightly more traction when you're in third person. Could just be me, but it seems like they are a little bit less slippy. And I don't know, it's kind of nice to switch to it when the hardest part in third person or first person view when you are on the off-road trails is the hood blocks a lot of the view and you can't really see what you're doing too well. But when you're on these roads, it's actually kind of fun to actually get in cab. And speaking of in cab, nice work from Big Dubs here. It's definitely a sharp looking cab, a lot of little details. Really enjoying this vehicle. It's a fun one to have for sure, and it's not, like I said, it's not OP, but it seems about what you would expect if you had a truck like this, or at least hope for. Just down around the end of this road there is that little turnoff, and that's where the bridge and this log road actually start. What I've done is I've just tricked the game into thinking I completed the bridge build in the editor, so that's already completed. But if you're doing this task in game, the first thing you're going to do is have to get the bridge across the river. Just figured you guys have probably seen enough bridges built in Snowrunner, and this is the only one on the map, so didn't overdo it with the bridge builds. We're just going to come down across that, and that's where our unload spot is, and then we'll just have a look at what the road's going to be like. I tried to lay the logs down into the mud a bit so it looks like it's been placed there, and you will have a little bit of mud to drive through, but you're mainly on the logs, so it should make it a fairly easy trip. I haven't tried it. I haven't basically you just go in the game and you set up the build settings like you would normally, but you don't add all the different stages of what the model looks like as it builds, so I can just trick it into being built. These bridges will be the ones that you're going to first deliver to and then get across the river, and then we start on doing this log road. As far as I can tell, it should work. I haven't actually tested this mission yet, but from what I see and what I double checked in the editor, it should function fine. So we're just going to come up here, unload our 2 logs, and this is what we're going to be doing to get across. And like I said, there is, I think I did it 3 at a time. There's probably 12 or 15 of these to be built across the map, and you can tell it doesn't make the road perfect, but it's going to make it a lot easier to pull some of this big heavy stuff through and a much straighter shot. So love to hear what you think of the map so far. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all again soon.